There's plenty of games where you're repelling an alien invasion from Earth, but in X-Morph Defense you're playing as the aliens. But does this alien invasion deserve a welcome party, or is it more like an excruciating extraterrestrial encounter? X-Morph Defense is a mix of tower defense and shoot-'em-up style of action. You're playing as an alien force that's invading Earth in order to gather resources, and of course the Earthlings aren't quite happy about it. You drop down giant harvesting towers in various locations across the world, and it's up to you to defend these towers as they gather those resources and take on wave after wave of enemies. During the battle itself, you control an alien ship that gets to roam around the battlefield in order to fire at incoming enemies and build up your defenses. You have two modes here, the action mode where you're able to attack enemies in a twin-stick shooter style, and then you have the ghost mode. You're able to move around usually a bit quicker, as well as being able to gather certain resources and build those towers. The game has a decent variety to the types of towers, and certain ones will do better against certain enemy units, which is pretty standard fare for tower defense type games, and you'll unlock more as you progress through the game's main campaign. You also get plenty of abilities and upgrades that you're able to unlock in order to increase these different towers, their power, and your overall defenses. The game's main campaign is broken up into 14 different missions, some of which are mandatory and other ones are optional, but it's recommended that you really do the optional ones because you'll end up netting yourself extra upgrades that will definitely come in handy when you make it farther into the game. One thing that's cool is you can actually play the entire story campaign two-player co-op, though this is only done locally. The game does a decent job at easing you into the different types of enemy units that you'll be battling. The farther you make it in, the tougher ones you'll have to deal with, like giant enemy tanks, aerial assaults, and even infantry troops. Each mission has a certain number of waves that you'll have to survive. Some have more than others, and some even end with a boss encounter if you're able to survive all the other waves. Before a wave, you're given a certain amount of resources that you'll be able to use in order to build some extra defenses, and what's cool is if a tower is destroyed, you're able to rebuild it right away if you want to, but trying to quickly switch between the ghost mode, the rebuild, and get right back into firing at enemies is a tricky balance that you'll have to get good at. Before a new wave begins, you'll get to see the incoming enemy trajectory of what paths are going to be taken to your base, and you can set up accordingly. You can even block their paths that will make them go other ways around, and of course the longer path they take, the more time you'll have to deal with them. The thing is though, they have to have a path to get to you, and it can be a bit finicky at times. When I blocked them off one way, all the path did that they were going to be coming just slightly moved over just an inch or two, which I felt kind of depleted the purpose of building the walls sometimes, but if I built enough of them, it would force them to go the complete long way around. Each mission in the game has 3 different difficulties, and you are ranked with a bronze, silver, or gold medal for how you're able to complete each mission. While I thought there was enough variety in the whole tower defense part, I wish there was more done with variety to the shoot-'em-up portion of it. It's a nice little added mechanic, but for the most part I felt the tower defense had a bit more going for it than the shoot-'em-up aspects. While it's going to take you a bit of time in order to get through the 14 main missions here, especially with the amount of waves that each mission ends up having, it still may get a little tedious and boring for some. You are fighting in similar environments as well as fighting similar troops in each one of the missions. Even though you're fighting in different countries, you still have a US force that's basically leading the troops against you. I will say though, graphically the game does a decent job. There's a lot of destruction going on, lots of explosions, and the game didn't really slow down much on me at all. I will say in the sound department though, you'll hear a lot of the same voice clips repeatedly. Especially if your tower is under attack, it will constantly keep saying on loop that your tower is under attack with the same voice clip over and over again until you're finally able to clear out enemies around it. Other than the little bits of slowdown here and there, the game didn't crash on me, but it did end up locking up one point at the menus where I wasn't able to select that yes, I wanted to go back to the main menu, and I had to close the game and restart it back up. X-Morph Defense is available now on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC for $19.99. It does have a full trophy list and a platinum on the PS4. Overall, X-Morph Defense does a decent enough job at what it's trying to do, and it looks quite nice while it's doing so. It may not have as much depth as some people would like, and I wish there was a bit more variety overall, though I do like the fact you can play the entire campaign co-op. With everything said though, I'm going to be giving X-Morph Defense a 6 out of 10. But anyway guys, it's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.